What's going on? Welcome back to another video. This is a weird one. I needed something to sort of fill the gap today. So I'm actually going to be showing you how I edit a vlog, and it's super simple, but for anybody looking to get into video editing, I believe this is probably going to be a really good sort of walkthrough for you. This is a simple how to get your clips from whatever camera you have or whatever, stick it into an editing platform, trim all of the crap and the stuff that you don't need, and turn it into something of a cohesive story. Then add in a couple of layers, couple of sound effects, upload to YouTube, you're good to go. For this example, we will be using Premiere Pro, which is my editing software of choice. I've been using it for God knows how many years now, and I dread to use anything other than Premiere at this point, but the consensus would be the same regardless of what editing software you choose to use. So what you're looking at now is a blank template. There is nothing here, no sequence, no effects, no nothing. So what you're going to want to do, in my case, is open up your Explorer. Going to go to where my documents are all hidden. Go ahead and select them, drag them over to here, which is your project folder. It should say project, and then the name of the actual thing you're working on, and it will import all of your files. In my case, I've been shooting on a GoPro and on my Canon DSLR. Now, there are two ways of doing this from this point. You can either create a sequence, in which case you want to go down here to this little new item icon and select sequence. This is where it gets a bit complicated, because if you don't know the ins and outs of frame rates and resolutions and things like that, it can be a little bit weird and tricky trying to figure that out. But you can go ahead and go to settings, add in your own stuff. So you're probably going to want to either 1080p, maybe 1440 if you're working with a slightly higher resolution. This is your frame rate. Again, it depends on what you shot the file in. For the most part, it's going to be either 97, 30, or 60. And that's pretty much your essentials. But for this case, we're going to keep it a little bit simpler. The majority of my project is going to be 60 FPS, or well, 59.94. It's pretty much 60 FPS. I know that these, the MVI files, are from my Canon. That's just the way that it labels different files. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and hold shift and click and drag over to your timeline. And there you go. This is the entire story of my day so far. If you guys don't know, I vlog every single day of my life, and this video just happens to be one of them. Now, there's a lot of stuff in here that needs to be trimmed out. As you can see, it's over 16 minutes long, which is a lot longer than I would normally have for a video. So we're just going to rewind, go to the beginning, and I'm also going to go and select my GoPro footage, which I believe should go in around about here. The GoPro footage needs to be going in here, but if you just try and drag this, it's going to overlap this clip, and it's just going to be all nasty and yeah, not very good. Oh, there's no audio file for the GoPro stuff as well, because it's a time lapse. Normally you would have it. Anyway, I'm going to go like we did before, from the very top all the way down to the very bottom, the last GoPro file, click, drag, and I'm actually going to hold Control, which will shift every single clip along this way. So now we have all of my Canon footage, my GoPro inserted in the middle, and then we're back to the Canon footage immediately after. Now, in my case, for the sake of storytelling, I recorded this afterwards, so I'm just going to move that as well. So at this point, we have around about 18 minutes of footage now that all the GoPro stuff is in there, and we need to start trimming that down and making it into a more of a cohesive story. I will be sort of fast forwarding and skipping through things as I go, but I was going to edit this video anyway, so I thought, why not make a tutorial on how I edit my daily vlogs. Now, this again is super simple. It's literally trimming some clips, adding in some sound effects and graphics, and that is pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is actually go into the YouTube audio library. There are 101 different ways of getting free commercial use music, but for me, this is just a daily vlog. It's nice and simple, and I want to find something that goes with the theme of today's episode, which in this case is family and adventure.
But I'm so frustrated.
It's kind of a vibe. One thing I find that does help, if you actually go up to here, you can filter by genre, mood, track title, artist name. It's really, really handy. All right, it's kind of a good vibe. Let's go with this one. Download that. Now, I may go through and add a couple of tracks, but if I do put any in the future of this video, I'd get them all from the YouTube audio library. Nice and simple. A couple of other places you may want to look for music is Streambeats. They've got higher quality music than the YouTube audio library, but they're a little bit of a pain in the backside to download. But they do have an official website, which is senpai.tv, but the website is currently under construction, but you can go ahead and download the tracks from their Google Drive, which is pretty cool. And they have a bunch of genres. which is nice. Now, the highest quality place for music is Epidemic Sound, but you do have to pay for a subscription. There will be a link in the description for a little discount and things like that, but essentially you don't need it if you're just doing some vlogs. So now that we've got our track, I'm going to open up the File Explorer once again, go to Downloads and just drag that one over. Then once it's in here, I'm going to drag it onto the Audio 2. So now you have two different layers, Audio 1, which is going to be the main vocals and everything that came from the camera, and Audio 2 down here is going to be your music. Now, Audio 3 would normally, I'd use it for sound effects and things like that, but again, simple edit, we're not really going to be using any of that. If we do, we'll let you know. Now, instantly what you're going to notice is when you start playing it, the music, especially in points like this where the audio is super loud, the music is going to be way louder than anything on the microphone. You're not going to be able to hear anything. Just have a nice day. So what I tend to do is go ahead and this is your audio track mixer. If you can't find any of this or it's a different layout, go up to Window and you can actually select everything you need. If we close this, it would disappear, or you can click here to open it up again. You have a bunch of other stuff like essential sounds and graphics, and yeah, it's pretty simple. But anyway, Audio 2 on the audio track mixer, I'm going to bring that down by -12 and you should be able to hear a difference. Just have a nice day. Now I think it may need to go down a little bit more. -15. Just have a nice day. That'd be great. There we go. That's a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through the beginning of the clip. See, just start smiling. That would be a decent point to start the video. It's another day. Now, a lot of this comes down to feel, but I kind of like to base it on intuition and sort of storytelling. So I know that I'm going to have a little bit of an introduction. Hello, today we're doing this, today we're doing that. This is my kid being all cute. And then we're going to bump up the music and transition into more like a montage-y kind of thing, and then get back to the talking later on. So what I'm going to do is any bits that I don't need to keep into the video, I'm going to crop out. This bit here, that little gap between moving the camera down. What I'm doing, by the way, I'm using C to open up the razor tool, which is this little guy right here. You can click that as well. And then I'm going to click, and that will cut the clip. Now you press V or select the pointer tool, the selection tool here, and then you can select this. Now, what most people tend to do is press delete, but then you have a gap here, which you would then have to click again, and then delete again, which is a pain in the arse. So what I do is I've actually programmed a hotkey, if you go into keyboard shortcuts, and I have programmed ripple delete, razor, and the zoom tool, and the selection tool all right next to each other. So essentially what I do is I press C to cut, V to select, and then X will automatically delete and shift all of these clips over. It's not necessary, but it's just a quicker way of getting things done. She hurt her leg very badly. Yeah. So one thing that I like to try and do at this point is I like to pay attention to the waveforms down here. So you can see when I'm actually talking. That is Darcy talking in comparison to these bits here, which is just either silence or something inaudible. Like so. So I know that I'm going to start talking here. As you very sure. And then I can just, boom. Yeah. As you very sure. There we go. Okay, so now I'll just bring that back a little bit. Clip, and then I would probably take it to a different clip unless I start talking about something else, which I can't remember. We're gonna go grab some food. Oh, there we go. So I'm just gonna speed around this a little bit. We're gonna go grab some food, coffee. Okay, so that's the first clip done from the Canon, and we're already 30 seconds into the video. What I have noticed is that you can't really hear any of the music in the background. So I'm actually going to bump this up to -10 from -15, so we're making it louder. And I'm actually going to move this along here, so the beat actually comes in a lot quicker. Good morning. It's another day. And she hurt her leg very badly. Yeah. As you very sure. I'm just going to move this up a little bit. Just have a nice day. That'd be great. Keep hitting my hat though, bro. You're gonna be in trouble. Okay, so that's the basics of pretty much what I do throughout the entire video. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim down, do the exact same thing to all of these clips up until the point where something interesting happens. Okay, so I've now reached the point where I need to show you a new trick. Essentially what happened is I cropped this a little bit too short here, so I've cut off a bit of the good audio.
I like your moustache.
So rather than saying moustache, I said I like your moustache. So we need to make this clip longer, but we can't drag that. Look, see? So it's blocked by this one. So rather than clicking and trying to drag, which doesn't work, if you go up to it, hold control so the little arrow turns yellow, you can then move this and drag it out.
Your moustache.
Voila. Now I'm going to carry on editing and we'll get to some more tips. Okay, so I've now gotten to a point where we're transitioning from one sort of segment of the video into another, because I like to have different arcs in every single video I make. So we have like for this video, for example, we have a day out with the kids, then it turns into me talking and explaining what's happening and what the issue is. Then we go into resolving the issue and then we wrap up with a conclusion. That's a general sort of arc for a story. And you'll notice that in all of my videos, even if it's like subconscious. So we're now into the second part, which is where I sit down and I talk about a bunch of shit, which means everything's got to shift. The mood for the whole thing has to shift. So I've just finished playing with my kids, having fun.
Oh yeah, I could do it.
That curtain is really annoying me. So that was a very sudden shift into the next movement of the story. Me personally, I like to crop out any sort of spaces and gaps or parts where I say the word probably catch up on a bunch of TV. Like that bit right there. So again, you can tell from the waveform that is and then we have another big gap here, so crop that one out. It just keeps the audience interested rather than sitting here listening to me saying, so today I think like nobody's gonna want to watch that. So yeah, we're just cropping it out. I'm getting on going back to this bit where we transition from one part of the video into another. Now this is something again that takes a while, but as you're recording, you kind of, doesn't matter whether it's a big part of a story or a subconscious thing, just try and get into the habit of having different arcs in your day or your story. We've already got a transition and you may not even realize it, but obviously the music cuts out. That curtain is really annoying me. That break instantaneously changes the way that you think about the clip. So this feels different to this one. Now you can emphasize that with a completely different music track. Just for an example, if I go ahead and add this in, not that I'm going to use it because it's a little bit depressing, but we have a break from, we have the main fun track with the kids. We have a break where there's no music and it triggers something in your brain. And then we're going to go into a different type of music, which will then feel very different. And listen and see if you can feel the change of pace. That curtain is really annoying me. Alright, so Yaz is spending the evening in bed. She's going to chill, relax, do. See what I mean? So that shifts the focus entirely onto a completely different part of the video. Not only does this help with the retention in terms of keeping your audience engaged, because you know, if somebody was just watching the same video for like an hour long, you're going to bore them to tears. So you want to make sure that it feels very different. Normally, if I'm doing edits on the main channel, I'll add graphic effects, I'll add different zooms. So what I'll do is I'd crop, say, here, for instance, and I'd add a scale on 110 and just pop that in a little bit. So when you're watching it, in bed, she's going to chill, relax, do whatever she wants to do, probably catch up on a bunch. It changes that focus. It automatically changes the way your eye works, and it takes less than 5 seconds to do. So it's super simple. One other thing you can do is you can actually pop open your audio and you'll see a bar on this wavelength. Now this is the volume. You can turn this all the way up and deafen people, which I do not advise doing. You can actually, again, hit Control and you have this little key point there. Now go ahead and add another one immediately after. Once you have another one, you can just click, hold, and drag down, and you can change the position. Now this weird line right here is going to change the amount of time that it takes for the music to fade out. So you can either have quite a sudden drop, or you can elongate it a little bit and have it fade out to the very end of the clip. But for me personally, I like having that abrupt stop so you can feel the change of pace. Now what I'm going to do is add a new track, and I'm actually going to go ahead and edit all of this GoPro footage, which is just time lapse, but there's no audio to it. So it's literally me tidying up the house, doing some standard parenting stuff, I suppose. But there's a lot of these clips, and I will show you as we progress how to make that a little bit more immersive as well. Ooh, this is a fun bit. Okay, so in this music track, if I actually just drag this over here, you'll be able to listen to it for a second. You'll notice that the intro isn't very long. You have like 2 or 3 introductive beats, and then the guy comes in and starts rapping, which does not give me enough time. So have a listen.
Let's go.
And then he starts rapping, but it's way too soon for what I'm doing because I need this little phase where I'm talking to the audience and explaining what's going to happen. So if I bring this up here, first thing you want to do is find out where the guy starts rapping, which I think is around about here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to crop it here, right on the drum beat. Bam. Now, what we're going to want to do is at the beginning of my little GoPro time lapse, it's instantly going to start with the drop. Because there's no audio, you want it to be entirely music. And then he will start rapping and it will cover the silence. Okay, but now what you're going to find is when you put this here, you have all of this empty space right here, which is super annoying. So essentially what you can do is just go up to here on the third beat. And you can just copy and paste this. Honestly, it's really simple. So the easiest way to do this, you can Control C, but when you Control V, it pastes on top of that one, or it doesn't paste in the right place. It can just be super annoying, or it ends up pasting on audio track 1. So what I like to do is hold Alt and click and drag. And then voila, you have a copy. And just keep doing that all the way through. It can be a little bit weird, so you may want to just shuffle a couple of bits here and there. All right, so Yaz is spending the evening in bed. She's going to chill, relax, do whatever she wants to do. Probably catch up on a bunch of TV shows. I noticed the timing was a little bit off. That's something that I probably should have sorted out beforehand. But yeah, just drag your clips like that. It's pretty simple. So now it should all sound very cohesive and lead into the GoPro footage. All right, so Yaz is spending the evening in bed. She's going to chill, relax, do whatever she wants to do. Probably it's like a little teaser, you know, it's working towards something.
Busy as hell for the last couple of days. I am going to take the liberty of tidying the entire house. Well, downstairs. Kids are sleeping upstairs, so I feel like the house needs a little bit of love. So if you like cleaning montages, now's your time.
Let's go.
You're welcome.
There we go. Now, something that's annoying me is the fact that this is way too quiet, considering there's no other music as a focus. So I'm actually going to bump this up by 10 decibels, like so. You can just drag it down to audio 3 because there's nothing bringing it down. But this should work.
So if you like cleaning montage, you're welcome.
I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be.
Now, again, one thing you may want to do is fade it in. So same as before, click, click, and just drag it down. I don't think we need it though.
You're welcome.
I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow.
It kind of worked. Now, I do not want these time lapses going on for ages. I literally want the whole thing done within 20 to 30 seconds because nobody's going to want to watch a minute of me cleaning via time lapse. That would just be weird. So this starts at around about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, give or take. So I want it to end at around about 2 minutes and 50 seconds, which is... oh, it's close. Right, around about here. Let's call it there. So all of these GoPro footages need to wrap up here. What's the easiest way of doing that? Essentially, what you want to do is program each GoPro clip to fit into maybe 2 or 3 bars of the music. Music is an essential part of video editing, and you will figure that out as you go.
I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be.
So this beat here, I want it to switch to another GoPro clip. So I could just crop and bring that one in, but then you lose a lot of the GoPro footage. In this case, it's a time lapse, so you want to be able to see the before and the after. One thing that is great for that is if you go ahead and select you go onto the ripple tool, and then you go on to rate stretch tool, or you can press the R button on your keyboard, find where that beat drops again, which is right here. And now if you grab the very end of this clip and you bring it all the way down, it will keep the full length of the clip from start to finish, but it will speed it up so that the whole thing fits in this little segment. And then we can just go ahead, delete that gap.
Welcome.
I wake up to a little.
Now let me just go half because it starts getting a bit glitchy.
I wake up to a little bit of drool on my.
There you go. So if somebody wanted to, not that they necessarily would, but you can see how messy it was at the beginning. That's me there. And then it goes through, we clean up the whole room. And then it's nice and tidy at the very end. I actually go through with a camera and I show how much cleaner and better it is in person. So I'm not too worried about the before and after reactions. You just want to go ahead and do this again. So I'll show you one more time. This one should be okay because it's only a beat and a half.
On my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
If we go here, this is the start of the new beat. As you can see from the waveform, I'm actually one frame too close. Press R again to select your rate tool and bring that down. Voila.
A bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
So you notice on every single beat, it starts switching to a different clip. That is something that is in every one of my videos on the main channel and in the vlogs, because it just helps keep it cohesive on the beat. That is, like I said, mentally, your brain registers the beat with a switch, a transition. In this case, it's a transition from one scene to another. I'm going to go ahead and do that for the rest of the GoPro footage, and I will catch you guys in a second when it's all done. Now, interestingly, another little bit here, again, this comes down to music, is we have a clip that is not long enough to stretch the whole length. So we can either do one of two things. We can either use the rate stretch tool, and we can actually drag it this way and stretch it out like so, which will make it longer, but it will slow it down. So you may encounter some weird
Feel alive and there's nothing that makes me happy.
nastiness, like the frame rate just doesn't add up. Or one thing we can do is put it on the offbeat. So you know how we've been putting it on the bass, like so, every time it goes doof.
Cause my boss is a jerk and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life cause I don't feel
What we could actually do here is put it on the snare, which, you know what a snare is, and you guys aren't idiots. So rather than the oof, we put it on the
I don't feel alive and
right here. Oh, it's a clap. My bad. So there we go. And then we speed it up again. And if anything, it helps keep the pacing.
go to work cause my boss is a jerk and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life cause I don't feel alive and there's nothing that makes me happy.
So it keeps with the timing. It just changes to a different clip. Also, for those of you watching this video and you're like, oh, why is this dude so obsessed with cleaning? I'm not. I'm recording my day-to-day. This is not tech related. So once again, not enough room for it to go all the way across. So we drop it on this bass. And so on and so forth. Also, one thing I didn't tell you is how to always make it land here, because if you do it like this, it's a little bit hit and miss whether you're going to get it in the right place. So one thing you can do is find your little pin line thing. I can't remember what this is called, but just drop it where you want it to go, and it'll automatically snap to that position. Like so. Okay, so all of our GoPro footage is done, which means that once again, we're going to come into another transition, and this actually wraps up the video. We have a little tour of the house and how clean it is, and ooh, it's so lovely and fancy. And then we wrap up the video with a little outro. So once again, we're going to come in here and we're going to get rid of this audio. But for this, I feel like we need a fade out. We're going to want to click here and then another one here, bring it down, fade it, cut, delete. You'll get used to this. It's just a big learning curve. I've been doing this for 10, 15 years now, so a lot of it comes naturally to me. But once you get a hang of the keyboard shortcuts and everything else, a lot of it is very intuitive. Normally, my day-to-day vlogs take me between 20 to 25 minutes to edit because they're super simple. A main channel video with graphics and color grading and everything else, that would take about 2 hours, I'd say, for me. So again, it's not too bad. But it's a lot of it comes down to just practice, getting the hang of the software, and also getting a lot of tools and shortcuts in place to make your life a little bit easier as you go. So this little fade here should be long enough to make it sound very intuitive. But I think I start talking straight away, so we may have to change some little bits.
Hold my beer for a minute. I'm about to quit my job.
Excuse the crappy lighting, but
Yeah, okay, so that just sounds really weird to me. So what I'm going to do is actually delete that, drag it out again, and I'm going to start fading it before the clip actually finishes. So we're going to do something like that. So it's already half the volume that it was when it was playing before I even start talking.
Hold my beer for a minute.
all right. Excuse the crappy lighting, but
So that sounds a bit better. What I might do is just drag this along just a little bit.
all right. Excuse the crappy lighting.
Yeah, okay, that sounds better. So for the GoPro stuff, as you can see, it lands on every single beat. And yeah, let's have a little look.
Let's go.
You're welcome.
I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid.
So again, I'm just going to go through and crop out all the boring bits.
Cleanliness.
One thing I didn't do during this clip, which is really annoying to me, is can't actually show you because my camera is recording, but essentially I've got a microphone that points forward. Okay, so this is pretty much my exact rig, besides the camera being different and different microphone, but you get the idea. One trick that you can do, which I find that I don't do often enough, and it's a mistake that I'm constantly trying to remember while I'm recording, turn this microphone around. It's recording from everything over here. If you just take that off the hot shoe, flip it around, and have it record everything here, when you're doing voiceovers like this, it will sound a lot better.
A little bit messy already, but other than that,
See, it sounds really echoey and garbled. That's because it's picking up everything in front of it and I'm behind it. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with the entire edit. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in a little song to sort of send off the video. Now, one way I like to do this, which not a lot of people think about, is actually delete the clip and keep this tiny little bit on the end. Now, this final note is going to be, you delete all that as well. This final note is going to be after the video.
All right, peace.
Actually, I want this little strum here. There you go. Maybe put it back there.
All right, peace.
See, that's all sent off to the video. And now what we can do is just grab this, and that is going to be our music track. So rather than putting it in this side, which if we had done that, let me just show you what would have happened. We had started with this track around about here. We have all of this afterwards, and we have to try and make it sound nice as it fades out. So if we go from the back to the front, it just makes life a little bit easier because you already naturally have a nice little fade out.
Work with me. All right, peace.
See what I mean? How much better does that sound? So at the beginning here, I want this clip to come in. Let's put it about there. Nice little fade in. You can also use, if you go into effects, where are we going? You could do a little fade or a constant gain. It does pretty much the same thing. So even if we got rid of these, put in a constant gain and had it fade a little bit like so, exactly the same thing, just without keyframes.
Look at all this organization, tidiness, cleanliness.
So just for the sake of the video, we'll keep that in like that. And that music track will play through the whole thing. I'm just going to bring this down a tiny bit because I want the focus to be on what I'm saying. There we have it. That is the entire story of the vlog. That is just shy of 5 minutes, which is pretty short for some of my videos. And I'm going to go through, watch it all and see what else needs to be changed. I'll normally crop out boring bits, things that are unnecessary, and maybe add in a couple of graphics if it's needed. But in this case, I don't think so. One thing I like to do to make everything sound better is if I click this little arrow right here, you guys see what I'm doing? You can add in effects. Now, if you click this little arrow here, you can add in a bunch of different stuff. Now, you guys can go through and play with whatever the hell you want, but what I tend to add on every single one is a vocal enhancer, which makes my voice a little bit more prominent as I'm talking, especially when I'm behind the microphone. It makes it pop a little bit more. And then I'm also going to add a multi-band compressor, which keeps everything nice and tidy. You don't want that too high. I'd say around about 2 decibels maximum. And then finally, you want to wrap it up with a hard limiter. You want to set that to -3 decibels, like so. Voila. That will just make your voice pop. It will make the lows come up. It will make the highs come down, make everything a little bit more solid. And then the hard limiter will limit the actual decibel here. So even if you do something really loud and annoying, it will not surpass that. It just makes it a little bit more pleasant for whoever's watching.
Look like patchy because I'm naturally a Freddy Krueger wannabe, but this is so much better.
All right, so I just watched the entire thing. There's nothing really I want to change about it. Like I said, super simple edit. Don't need to do anything crazy or special with it. So let's go ahead and export it. What you want to do, file, export, and then let me run you through the settings that I use. Essentially, what I do is put it in its own folder. I have everything super neat and organized. So let's just do a vlog. Is it 7? I think it's 7. 7 or 6. So once you have it all organized and you know where it's going to be going, I have everything to match source for the most part, but then you want to pop open this more tab and select render at maximum depth and then render at maximum quality. Ding dong, it is all done. One thing I do like to do, because I don't really spend much time with my vlogs making nice thumbnails, I get a cute little picture of me and the kids, or whatever the topic is for the video, and that is the thumbnail. So something like this, just go ahead, press this little export frame button. If you don't have it, click this, and then it should be there. And there we go, schedule. All I have to do now is wait for the video to finish uploading, and I am pretty much done. So that is my start to finish on how I take footage from my cameras, record my entire day, edit it, stick it up on YouTube, export options, everything that you need to know for making a really simple vlog. Now, once again, you don't need Premiere Pro. You could be using something, I don't even know, is Windows Movie Maker still a thing? You could even shoot everything on your phone and use an app like CapCut or VN Editor or Sony Vegas to go ahead and edit it all on there. The same principles apply, just different ways of doing things like the fade-ins, and you've got pretty much all the information you need at this point. I hope this video has helped you. If you want me to do a how I make better videos, like stuff on the main channel with graphics and color grading, and maybe how I set up OBS, anything at all, I'm more than happy to make it. I need all the ideas I can get for this daily vlog series. So drop a comment down below and I will be happy to help. I am going to go to sleep now because I am exhausted and it is nearly 6:30 in the morning. I have a couple of hours rest and then I'm back at it again with the kids. So I love you faces. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You're amazing and beautiful, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.